This is a story of two worlds, born from the ashes of the same global war, but forged in radically different fires. It's a story about freedom, power, and how an idea born on the open roads of America could be twisted into a weapon for a new kind of empire. Our story begins in the year 1948. America has just survived the crucible of World War II. The nation is breathing a collective sigh of relief, embracing peace and prosperity. The American dream is in full swing, with white picket fences and promises of a quiet, stable life. But for the young men returning home from the battlefields of Europe and the Pacific, quiet wasn't what they craved. They were restless, hardened by combat, and unwilling to trade the adrenaline of survival for the monotony of suburbia. They were a generation that had stared death in the face and found civilian life lacking. So, in the freedom-loving, sun-drenched streets of California, a new kind of brotherhood forms. It's a brotherhood built not on military rank, but on chrome, leather, and the roar of a V-twin engine. They call themselves the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Founded by war veterans, their mission is simple but profound: ride free, live free, answer to no one. They reject society's rules, its comforts, and its judgments. When the American Motorcyclist Association supposedly claimed that 99% of motorcyclists were law-abiding citizens, these men seized the remainder. They proudly wear the label 1%, outsiders by choice, rebels by conviction. For them, freedom is their fuel. The open road is their church. But thousands of miles away, across the ocean, in a frozen land ruled by paranoia and fear, the very concept of freedom looks very different. Here, the individual exists only to serve the state. In the Soviet Union, one man holds absolute, unquestionable power. His name is Joseph Stalin. He is a dictator whose grip on Russia is built on a foundation of terror, unwavering loyalty, and total control. In his world, there are no outsiders, only insiders and enemies. There is no personal freedom, only collective duty. At first glance, these two worlds could not be more different. One is a culture of radical individualism, the other, a cult of absolute conformity. But the currents of history are strange and unpredictable. Decades later, as one empire crumbled and another sought to reclaim its glory, these two opposing ideals would collide in the most unexpected way imaginable. To understand how a group of bikers became a tool of the state, you have to go back to their beginning. Back to the birth of Russia's outlaw bikers. The story of Russia's most notorious motorcycle club does not begin with politics, or power, or patriotism. It begins underground, in the shadows of a decaying empire. Moscow, 1983. The Soviet Union is a world of gray conformity, a place where the individual is crushed by the collective. Here, Western culture is poisoned. Rock music, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, is officially illegal, dismissed as spiritual pollution. Owning a pair of blue jeans could get you in trouble. Free expression is dangerous. The state's eyes and ears are everywhere. But even in the most oppressive systems, cracks appear. And a small group of rebels refuses to obey. They organize secret rock concerts in basements and abandoned buildings, hidden from the Soviet authorities. Motorcycles, leather jackets, loud guitars. These aren't just fashion statements. They are symbols of a forbidden world, a declaration of defiance. For a generation suffocating under state control, these gatherings become sanctuaries, a place to breathe, a place to feel something real. By 1989, the ground is shifting. The Berlin Wall is about to fall, and the Soviet Union itself is beginning to crumble. In this chaos, the underground scene solidifies. They give themselves a name, the Night Wolves Motorcycle Club, and they make it official, becoming the first registered motorcycle club in Soviet history, a formal identity for an informal rebellion. Out of this movement, a leader rises quickly. His name is Alexander Zaldostanov. A former dental surgeon, he's charismatic, imposing, and understands the power of image. His old profession earns him a nickname that sticks, the Surgeon. At first, they look like classic outlaws, a carbon copy of the American dream. Rock music, Harleys, leather vests, rebellion. It's all very American. very free, an ideal imported from the very culture they were told to hate. But in the new Russia, freedom is a complicated business. And that image of the carefree rebel doesn't last. From rebels to brand and power. By the mid-1990s, the Night Wolves are no longer just bikers. They launch Wolfwear, a clothing brand. They open Wolf Engineering, a custom motorcycle shop. They even collaborate with IMZ Ural, creating a special Wolf Ural motorcycle. They form the Wolf Racing Team, organizing massive events across Russia. The Night Wolves are no longer underground. They are visible, they are powerful, and they are getting closer to the state. Something has changed. The club's cozy relationship with the Kremlin was about to be tested on the world stage. The moment that changed everything came in 2014. Following the Maidan Revolution in Ukraine, unmarked soldiers, the so-called Little Green Men, appeared across Crimea. Soon after, Russia annexes the peninsula. And right there in the thick of it were the Night Wolves. Western governments and journalists on the ground accused the Night Wolves of participating alongside Russian forces. They weren't just riding in support. They were reportedly a key part of the ground operation. Reports described them confiscating weapons from Ukrainian military bases, securing territory, and operating as the Kremlin's unofficial muscle, intimidating any local opposition. The blowback was swift. The following year, their leader, the surgeon, is personally sanctioned by the United States for his role in the conflict. For the Night Wolves, who once prided themselves on crossing frontiers, borders begin closing. But they decided to double down. In 2015, the Night Wolves attempt a symbolic ride from Moscow to Berlin to mark the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II by retracing the Red Army's path to victory. The reaction from Europe was ice cold. Poland, citing national security concerns, refuses entry. Lithuania follows suit, turning them away at the border. And Germany, the final destination, threatens to revoke their visas, calling the ride a provocation. In the eyes of the West, they are no longer seen as just bikers. They are seen as agents of the state, a tool of soft power on two wheels. In the end, only a handful of members managed to reach Central Europe, some flying in to meet up with local chapters, laying wreaths at Soviet monuments under the watchful eye of Russian embassy protection. This was no longer a motorcycle ride. It was a political statement, a declaration that the Night Wolves were now soldiers in a much larger ideological war. Putin's Angels, Tengrutun 1230. Over the years, Russian media captures image after image. The Night Wolves riding beside Vladimir Putin. Putin attending their events. Putin praising their patriotism. The Kremlin funds their tours. Their projects receive millions in state money. They promote ultranationalism, Orthodox Christianity, and loyalty to Russia. Critics accuse them of far-right extremism, anti-LGBT ideology, anti-feminist rhetoric, covert operations abroad. Because officially, they are just a biker gang. Unofficially, they are something else entirely. Why they matter. This is why they are called Putin's Angels. They are an outlaw club that operates where the state cannot. If they act, the Kremlin denies involvement. If they fail, the Kremlin disowns them. They are a shield, a proxy, a militia without a uniform. From eastern Ukraine to the Balkans, their shadow follows Russia's ambitions. Freedom, once their banner, has been replaced by loyalty. Outlaws or soldiers. So what are the Night Wolves today? Are they freedom-loving bikers or state-approved enforcers wearing leather? The Hells Angels rode against authority. The Night Wolves ride for it. Two clubs, two philosophies, one symbol, the motorcycle. And in the end, the road they choose defines everything.